Good morning, everybody. Today we'll see the revision of Python. So, class 12, first chapter is revision of class 11 Python. So, whatever you have learned in class 11, it's important to recall those things here again. So, let us have a quick revision of Python. So, from the introduction, Python is high level programming language, it is an interpreted, interactive, and object oriented scripting language. So it is designed by Guido van Rossum in 1990. So these things we have studied in class 11. So once again we are just recalling all the things what you have learned in class 11. So the main features of Python is portability. So that means it can run on any of the platforms, whether it's Windows, Linux or any operating system. Extendability, that means it allows to add low-level modules to the Python interpreter. So it can many different modules can also be added. Databases. Python provides interfaces to all the major commercial databases. So you can have a connection with databases. You can also have a GUI programming with the Python. It's easy to learn with simple few keywords, simple structure, and clearly defined syntax. So one more feature is readability. Python code is more clearly defined. So interactive mode. So what is interactive mode? Python uses shell, which allows interactive testing and debugging of the part of the codes. So you can test and debug a part of the code interactively. Garbage collection. It supports automatic garbage collection. It can be easily integrated with other programming languages like C, C++. So these are the few features of Python. So mainly portability, extendability, databases, GUI programming, easy to learn, readability, interactive mode, and easy integrated with different programming languages. The popular softwares made in Python, just for knowledge, so Dropbox, Google, Instagram, YouTube, BitTorrent, Yahoo Maps. So these are the few examples which are designed using Python programming language. So mainly we need to know the basic concepts of Python. So let us start with basics, that is Python character set. So what is a character set? Any valid character in Python is called as a character set of Python. It can be the alphabets A to Z, digits 0 to 9, special symbols, white spaces, so that is blank space, tab, return key, and other characters. So Python can process in all kind of character coding, that is ASCII or Unicode characters. So altogether we call it as a Python character set. Then the next term comes tokens. So you know that tokens is smallest individual unit of a programming language. So we divide this into different categories, that is keywords, identifiers, literals, operators and punctuators. We'll see one by one. We learned all this in class 11 and once again we are recalling it. So first term is keywords. What is a keyword? Keyword is a reserved word, or it's having a special meaning. The word which is having a special meaning is called as keyword. For example, int, it always refers to integer. If, elif, continue, class, while, all these words which are having specific meaning, its meaning doesn't change any time, so that we call it as a keywords. Identifier. The Python identifier is a name used to identify a variable, function, class, module, or other objects. So it is mainly used for identifying a part of a program. So there are some conditions while giving name for identifiers. Python identifier may be combination of alphabets, underscores and digits. The first character of an identifier must be a letter or underscore character. And case sensitive, that means uppercase and lowercase are different. Length of an identifier is endless, that means if there is no specific conditions for the length of a identifier, and no keyword can be taken as identifier is important, so you cannot use a keyword as identifier. Literals are nothing but constant, that means its values doesn't change. So we divide that into different kinds of constant, that is string constant, numeric constant, boolean constants and special constants or literals. So strings are nothing but anything enclosed in single quotes, double quotes or triple quotes, we call it as strings. So that is called as string literals. So numerical literals, it may be integer, floating point number, it's a complex number, can be a complex number. So similarly boolean, true or false values can be called as a boolean. And there is a special literal called none, that means nothing. So these are called literals, its values doesn't change. So we'll see the examples for string literals. So here we have seen the hello is written with double quotes, then Tani is written with the triple quotes, and Gwalior is written with single quotes. So all these are examples for string literals. So numeric literals, which can be integer, floating point number or complex number. We have seen these examples. So anything of this kind can be called as a numeric literals. So boolean literals are of two, that is true or false values, and there is a special literal called none, means nothing. Normally we don't use much. So next token is operators. What is operator? Operators are symbol used to perform operations on values and variables. So here you can see the term a plus b minus c. So in this, plus and minus are operators, a, b, c are operands. So what are the different operators used in Python? We'll see here. Mainly we categorize into unary and binary. So under unary we just normally give more importance to plus and minus, that is unary plus and unary minus. And in binary, so unary means one operand, binary means more than one operand. So here we categorize these binary operators into arithmetic operators, relational operator, logical operator, assignment operators, and very many more kinds of operators. So under arithmetic operators is plus, minus, multiplication, division. So modulus, what is modulus? Percentage symbol is called modulus, or reminder. You can get the reminder using this. Then asterisk, asterisk, so it is used for power, and forward slash 2 times is used for integer division. So similarly relational operator, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to, these are used for relational operators. And or, these are the logical operators. Assignment operators you can use to assign a value that is equal to, or forward slash and equal to, that means we can is equal, like you can write forward slash equal to is a shortcut assignment operator, plus equal to, minus equal to, asterisk equal to. So these are shortcuts, or equal to is for assignment operators. Similarly there are other operators like bitwise, shift operator, identity operator, number shift operator. So identity operator is is and not, is not. These two are identity operators. In and not in, these are called membership operators. So most commonly we use arithmetic operator, relational operator, logical operators and assignment operators. So membership operators are also used sometimes to find whether the element is present in the list or any data types. So to know more about this, we have seen already supplied this material to you. You can just try this yourself, guess the answer and just click for answer. So you find out the answer for this and just click on answer for solution. This material is already sent to you, just to try yourself. So next category of tokens is punctuators. So punctuators is a token that has a syntactic and semantic meaning to the compiler. That means it is mainly the symbols used in programming that we call it as a punctuators. So we have seen about the tokens, different types of tokens. Next, let us see the data types in Python. What are the different data types used in Python? So what is data type? It is used to refer the type of data. Every value in Python has a data type. Since everything is an object in Python programming, data types are actually classes and variables are instances of these classes. So anything in Python we refer with the object. So there are various data types in Python. The most commonly used data types are numbers, list, tuple, string, set, dictionary. All these are the commonly used data types in Python. So we'll see one by one. So you can see this Python data type chart where the Python basic data types are classified into four types where number, boolean, string and collection. Under number we can see integer, float and complex. So there is a data type called boolean, that is I told you already, is true or false values. And then there is a string, sequence of characters enclosed with single quotes, double quotes or triple quote is called a string. Then collection, this list, tuples, set and dictionary all together we call it as a collection. So the most important concepts here is mutable and immutable concepts of data types. What is mutable and what is immutable? A mutable object can be changed after it is created, and an immutable object can't. So that means anything which is changeable, that we call it as a mutable, or the unchangeable are called mutable. So what are the immutable and mutable data types in Python? We'll see. So immutable data types are integer, float, boolean, string, tuple, Unicode, or you can leave this Unicode here. Just integer, float, boolean, string, tuple. All these are immutable. That means it cannot be changed once it is assigned. Mutable. Mutable objects are examples are list, set, and dictionary. That means these list can be changed, set can be changed, dictionary can be changed. We have seen these concepts in class 11. We are just recalling this. Okay, let us see the next part. What are an object's identity, type, and value? All the data in Python code is created as objects. So everything is object. Every object has an identity, a type, and a value. So what is an identity? Object's address in memory is called as identity. If you want to know the identity of an object, you can type id open bracket and close bracket, so you can get the id. So that means the memory address. So you can know the type of object by type function. Type is used for knowing the data type of an object. So similarly, an object can have it can contain a value. So an object will have identity, a type and value. So here there is an example where a equal to Gwalior, that is means variable a is assigned with value Gwalior, string value Gwalior, b is assigned with value 25. So here a and b are called as reference variables, and Gwalior and 25, these two are the object values. So these object values will have a memory address or identity. So here in this example you can notice, for example, 1001, this is an identity or address of this particular object. Okay, let us see next. So here there is example. Here we have assigned same value to two different variables, like a is equal to 12 and b is equal to 12. So 12 is the object, and both a and b, both the variables are referring to the same object. So memory address is 1020 here. So a and b are the variables which refers to the object 12. Now we have assigned another value to variable b, that is b equal to hello. So what happens here is 12, b is also referred so to the object hello. So hello object is referenced by the variable b. So it is a different memory address here. Again c equal to a equal to 15. So whatever we have in a, that is again assigned to c, a new yeah, assigned to c, and same manner. So 12 is already present, see here, and you can notice this memory address of 12 is 1020, and c is also referring to the same. Similarly, hello, you can see the memory address of hello is 1220, so b is also referring to the same point 1220. Then 15 is assigned with the value 15, so it is a new memory address here 1500. So I think you are clear with this concept. Creation and deletion of variable. How can you create a variable and how can you delete? So here you can see age equal to 24. So you have created a variable age. If you want to delete a variable, then you can write del and the variable name. So in this case it is age. So now what do you mean by dynamic typing? You can see the example here. A is assigned with the value integer 12, and again a is equal to hello. It's a string. So a can contain a string as well as number. So two values can hold by a. So this we call it as a dynamic typing. So what is multiple assignment? You can also assign multiple values to variables. So you see these two examples here. A equal to b equal to c equal to d equal to 24. That means all a, b, c, d, all these variables will be assigned with the value 24. Here a comma b comma c equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. What it means, a will be assigned with the value 1, b will be assigned with the value 2, and c will be assigned with value 3. So let us have more clear about the data types. So first, numeric data types of it can be of integer type, long type. So long means long integers. It can be a floating point number. It can be a complex number. Similarly, a string, a sequence of characters is called a string. So Python supports Unicode characters, and it can be represented with single quotes, double quotes, triple quotes. Okay, so all these we call it as a string. So how do you create a string? So any variable name equal to, or write within single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes, any valid character set of Python, so then it becomes a string. So you can have a single line string or multiple line strings. If you want to have a multiple line string, then write backward slash. So after first line, you write backward slash and continue. Or it can also be written with triple quotes in this manner. You can see this example. Okay, this is one thing about the string, and string can have a indexing. It is important. So indexing, there are two types of indexing: forward index and backward index. For example, Gwalior is a string here. So index value of G, the forward index value of G is 0, backward index value of G is -7. So in this case, you just see here, forward indexing starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 6 here. So backward index will start from right to left, that is -1, -2, -3, -4. So you can index string in two ways. One is forward index as well as backward index. Next data type in Python is list. List is a versatile data type exclusive in Python. We use list a lot of time in Python. It is same as array in C or C++. But interesting thing about list in Python is it can simultaneously hold different type of data. It can hold different type of data. Formally, list is an ordered sequence of some data written using square brackets and separated with commas. We'll see the example here. So here my list equal to open square bracket and close square bracket. It creates an empty list. So second example, my list equal to, now with square brackets I've written 1, 2, 3. That means 1, 2, 3 are the elements of a list, my list. So in next example you can see 1, hello, 3.4. So you can see here 1 is an integer, hello is a string, 3.4 is a floating point number. So a list can contain different types of data. So you can also see here the next example, a list can contain another list within it. So we call it as a nested list. So next data type what you have learned is tuple. Tuple is an ordered sequence of items, same as list. The only difference is tuples are immutable. List is mutable, that means list values can be changed, but tuple is immutable. Tuples once created cannot be modified. You cannot modify the tuples once it is created. Tuples are used to write protect data and are usually faster than list as it cannot be changed dynamically. It is defined within parentheses where items are separated by commas. In list, items are separated by commas. In tuple also it is separated by commas, but where in list we use square brackets and in tuple we use parentheses or round brackets. So here the major difference between list and tuple is list is mutable, tuple is immutable, and data can be accessed faster compared to list in tuples. So we can see some examples how to create a tuples here. So in the first example we have created a empty tuple, then we have created tuple of integers, then tuple of mixed values. The same what we have created with the list here. So here fourth example we have seen this tuple contains string, a list and a tuple, so it can contain another tuple also inside it. So here the points for advantages of tuple over list. Since tuple are immutable, iterating through tuple is faster than with list. So there is a slight performance boost. So that means faster access of data is possible with tuple. We generally use tuple for heterogeneous data types and list for homogeneous data types. So it can contain, but normally we use tuple for heterogeneous data types, that means different data types. List is used for similar data types. Tuples that contain immutable elements can be used as key for dictionary. With list, this is not possible. We'll see that when it comes to dictionary. If you have data that doesn't change, implementing it as tuple will guarantee that it remains right protected. So if any data you need not change, so that can be put as a tuple. So there is one more data type called set. This is not a part of our syllabus, but still we'll see what is how set works. Set is unordered collection of unique items. It is defined by values separated by comma inside braces in flower bracket. So you should not confuse with the dictionary. In dictionary it is stored in a different way, and here you can see an empty set can be created like s1 equal to set open bracket close bracket, so it creates empty set, or it can be a set of values separated by comma and enclosed within flower bracket, so it is a set. So important point is set object does not support indexing. Like in list and tuples we use indexing, that is not possible with this. So you can perform intersection, union, subtraction, and some other operations with the sets. We'll see the next concept, that is dictionary. We use dictionary for many purposes. Many times we use dictionary, so it is an important concept. So Python dictionary is unordered collection of items that is changeable and indexed. That means it is mutable data type. Dictionaries are written with curly brackets. They have keys and values. So might have learned this, just recall once again. So dictionaries are always written with flower brackets, and there is two things here, keys and values. So keys and values, how it is, it's a set of keys and values. So 1 colon APR, 2 colon May, 3 colon June. So in this 1, 2, 3 are the keys, APR, May and June, these are values. Set of keys and values are enclosed in flower bracket in dictionary. So what is typecasting next? Typecasting is nothing but converting a variable value from one data type to another is called typecasting. Converting from one data type to another. So there are two types of conversions. The first one is called implicit type conversion. The second one is explicit type conversion. What is implicit type conversion? So that is, it is done, the conversion is done by the Python interpreter by itself. So you can see the first example in this. A equal to 4.0, that is, A stores a floating point value, P is 5. C equal to A plus B. So what happens? The result will be 9.0. In C, the floating point value will be stored. That is, the higher data type will be, it converts into higher data type. C will be the result of float type, and integer type is converted into float in C. So here automatically the Python interpreter itself converts the data types into a new data type. So without user intervention, this is called implicit type conversion. So in the second example, you can notice age equal to 25 is written within double quotes. That means it is a string. So 25 is a string stored in age. So there is a small mistake here. We'll see this. We cannot consider this as age. So here b equal to int of age. That means consider this as age. So what happens is age is converted into integer data type. So this 25 will be converted into integer data type. So here we have the user is specified that conversion. So forceful conversion, that is age is converted into integer and stored as b. So here it is done with the help of a user. This we call it as an explicit type conversion. So there are two types of conversions, implicit and explicit. Implicit conversion where Python interpreter itself converts, and explicit type conversion where the conversion is done by the user. So these are few functions through which conversion can take place, that is int, float, str, complex, bool. This function can be used to convert from one to another data type. Next, when you write a Python program, the few most commonly used statements what we use that we are going to see once again. Just to recall you, we know that we use input function for accepting the data from the user. So the way of using is we use variable equal to input and we'll write down the message within double quotes. Here there is an example, n equal to input, enter your name. So it asks the user to enter the name. Similarly, if you want to display, so print statement is used. So most commonly we use a print with the variable names, but there are other arguments can also be used with this. So first one is value. You can pass a value. You can also specify a separator, want to separator to be given when you have a more than one values, and you can end with a particular character. So print statement is used for display. So the simple programming example you can see here. So calculating simple interest. So int input principal interest. So what here, principal interest is a string, and you have asking the user to input it, and whatever is input by default it will be string. It is converted into integer data type. Similarly, interest and time is also entered. P into R into T divided by 100 is done for calculating simple interest, and it is displayed here. In the above example, we want to read numeric values PRT, but input returns a string value, hence we need to convert it into integer type using int. So next is print command. So print statement can be written with the print, then a string, and you can also have an argument here. In this case, the text is returned to the file. So we are not studied file concepts. After learning, will come to know the other things. Just know that print statement is used for displaying. It can displaying a value or data. So next is what are the different types of statements in Python. So the simple one is empty statement. Empty statement is written with the simple word called pause. Next is simple statements. So empty statement and simple statement. So simple statement is any statement of single line, single statement, which can be called as a simple statement. Compound statement is multiple simple statements are enclosed as a block, which can be called as a compound statement. So here the header line which starts with the keyword and ends with the colon, followed by the body of the body or more than one simple statements. So next is conditional statements. We know that if statement is called conditional statements. There are different versions of if statements. We'll see that in detail once again separately. So if statement is a conditional statement, then iterative statement, there are two iterative statements. One we use that is for loop and while loop. These two we call it as iterative statements. This part also we'll just learn separately in detail. Next is jump statements. So jump statements are used for transferring control from one phase to another. So the three jump statements you can see here, one is break, continue and pause. So break is to terminate the loop. So within a loop we can use break statement to terminate, continue to skip all the remaining statements in the loop and move control back to the start of the loop. So that means we use continue somewhere in between. So it continues from there and continues the loop once again, ignoring the bottom part after continue. Then pause. It makes a controller to pass by without executing any code. That means it doesn't do anything, just passes. We'll see the example here for break statement. So in this, A is for print break. This just to display the text or string break for I in range 1, 11. That means I will have the values from 1 to 10. Remember, the upper limit is not included. So here, if I equal to 5, so first time I value will be 1. So if I equal to 5, then it breaks. Okay, so first time I value is 1, so it doesn't break. It prints a into I, that is 4 into 1. So we get 4. Next time I value will be 2, so 2 into 4, that is 8. Next time I value will be 3, so 3 into 4, that is 12. Next time it will be 4, 4 into 4, 16. Next time I value becomes 5, so when I is 5, so break statement is executed. What happens is breaks out of the loop. So you will get only 4, 8, 12 and 16. After that it will break out of the loop. So the next statement will not be executed. So similarly there is one more statement called continue. This is just does the opposite. So see the example to know more about this. So here print continuous display, that is continuous statement is displayed here. I equal to 0 while I less than 10. So in this case I is 0 in the beginning, so 0 less than 10 is true. So I is equal to I plus 1, that means I value is incremented by 1. If I equal to 5, continue. So now first time I is not equal to 5, so it prints I, so I is printed, that is 1 is printed. Next time I becomes 2, so 2 is printed, then it becomes 3, 3 is printed, then it's 4, 4 is printed. Then I value becomes 5. When I is 5, continuous statement is executed. What happens is here from here itself the control will be transferred to the while again. So it continues the next iteration without going to the next. So in the previous example, break which breaks out of the loop but continues with the next iteration. So what happens is I when I value is 5, 5 is not printed. So it goes to 6, 6 is printed, 7 is printed, 8 is printed, like this it goes up to the value of I is 10. Then so pass statement just passes, you can use anywhere in the program or any part of the program which just passes. Pass statement doesn't do anything particularly, but it can act as a placeholder, that means just to pass the value. So here Swapping of two numbers. So few concepts just is explained here. If you want to swap two values like x and y values are 10 and 20. To display x and y, it will display 10 and 20. If I write x comma y equal to y comma x, what happens is x and the value of x and y are swapped each other. So x will have the y value, y will have x value. This is a particular concept especially used in Python. It's not possible with any other programming languages. So one more thing. So there is a list of values here, that is Python master and trainers. All these are the values of a list. So if you want to create a single string from all these elements, you can just write as a variable name equal to just a string value, that is opener dot comma and closing dot comma dot join a is nothing but a list. So what happens is all these elements will be joined together as a single string. Is it clear? So you can also do comparing using greater than less than operators. So we can also use if and else statements, simple if else statements to make a Python's ternary operator. That means three operators. So we see that in detail the conditional operators. So we can also reverse or slice the strings. We have seen these concepts in class 11. Just we need to recall it. I hope you have understood the basic concepts of Python which you have learned in class 11. We are repeating here. So starting with the features of Python. And the character sets of Python. Then tokens. Under the tokens we have seen keywords, identifiers, literals, operators and punctuators. And what is a keyword, what is identifier, literal, operators and punctuator. All these things you need to know again. So they may ask questions based on keywords, identifiers, operators, etc. So the string can be single quotes, double quotes or triple quotes. Numeric values can be integer, floating value, it can be a complex value. Boolean can be true or false. Special characters is none. Special literal is none. So operators, the different operators used in Python. What is punctuator? This symbols used in Python in a program is called punctuator. Then the different data types in Python. So numbers, list, tuple, strings, set, dictionary. So we have seen the categorization of the data types. And our most important thing concept is mutable and immutable. Mutable means changeable. Immutable means not changeable. Remember, list, set, and dictionary are mutable. All other data types are called mutable data types in Python. So all data in Python is treated as objects. Everything is object. So each object will have its identity, type, and value. And we have seen what is a reference variable and object. So in everything is an object. I told you. The same way in this example we have seen A and B are the reference variables, and each object will have its identity or address. So multiple assignment is possible with the Python. And indexing in strings we have seen, that is forward indexing and backward indexing. And how data is stored in list, that is it's in square brackets. Tuple sets in round brackets. List of values in round brackets. And what is the advantages of tuple over list? So what is a Python set? What is a dictionary? So remember here, dictionary is set of values where you have a key and value pairs. key and value pairs enclosed with flower packets. Then we have seen typecasting. So under typecasting, there are two types: implicit type conversion and explicit type conversion. Implicit conversion is taking place by the Python interpreter by itself, and the through user intervention, the conversion takes place. That is called explicit type conversion. So we have seen input statement, print statements, how it is used in programs. Then we have seen types of statements: empty statement, simple statement, and compound statements. Under that, conditional statements. So we are going to see that in detail. Conditional statements are if statements with different variations. Iteration statements are loops. So we have seen while loop and for loops. Then three statements to jump this transfer control from one place to another, that is break statement, continue, and pause. So here break statements break out of the loop. So wherever you use break within a loop, from there it breaks out of the loop. Continue, which continues with next iteration. Pause statement is used to just pause. It doesn't do anything. You can swap the elements. You can join the elements of the strings. You can reverse the elements of the strings. All these things are possible with Python. So we have just seen the basic concepts of Python, what you have learned in class 11. I hope you understood this. Thank you.